this edition of News Leader on 6, I'm Jim Fuller. In tonight's news, the Federal Trade Commission is warning about a new scam involving census jobs. Special agents with the TBI Human Trafficking Unit made 11 arrests this week in Spring Hill. We'll continue our conversation with State Senator Janice Bowling, and Angie Sowers from Tenanova Healthcare Harton will tell us about a diabetes clinic she's hosting on Friday. We'll have these stories and more on tonight's News Leader on 6.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. Only 2 remaining 2018 Kia Stingers, up to $10,000 off original MSRP. That's Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Welcome back. We saw it with the 2010 census, scammers lying to people about the availability of jobs as census takers and charging fees to help people get those jobs. If history is any indication, the scammers will likely be back at it for the 2020 census. The FTC is partnering with the U.S. Census Bureau to help you guard against potential census job scams. Knowing how the recruiting and hiring process works will help you spot, avoid, and report scams. The Census Bureau is recruiting to fill hundreds of thousands of temporary field and office positions across the country. Pay rates vary by position and location. There are 2 main tips to know to avoid being scammed. There is no fee to apply. Anyone who asks for a fee to help you get a Census Bureau job is a scammer. In fact, you never have to pay for information about job vacancies or employment opportunities with the U.S. government. What's more, federal agencies never charge application fees or guarantee that an applicant will be hired. Go to Census Bureau's website at 2020census.gov/jobs to complete an online application. The only way to apply for 2020 census positions is through this website. The online application includes questions about your education, work, and other experience. You'll need to give the following information to get started: Social Security number, home address, email address, and phone number, and date and place of birth. Be sure you're on the Census Bureau website before you give these details. For more information, you can visit their website at 2020census.gov. The Tullahoma American Legion Post recently presented London's Restaurant in downtown Tullahoma with an award for their contribution to the organization. Making the presentation is Post Commander Alan Harris.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here today in London's bar for a special presentation. This plaque was actually crafted and made by Everett Hatfield's direction to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the American Legion's birthday. We had that birthday on Veterans Day, November 11th, but the Legion actually turned 100 on the 8th of November. The reason this plaque exists and the reason we're presenting it today is that for several years, London's has been gracious enough to donate the food to serve for our veterans and their families at our American Legion Post home. So this is a very small token of our appreciation to London's and all of the folks that work here for your fine work and your dedication and your generosity year in, year out for providing those meals for us. So on behalf of the American Legion Post 43, I'd like to present you with this plaque. Hope that you'll find a location post.
Oh, we'll find the best place possible.
All right, thank you.
We thank you so much. Appreciate you. It's our pleasure.
A 2-day undercover operation by special agents with the TBI Human Trafficking Unit and detectives with the Spring Hill Police Department has resulted in the arrest of several men, including 3 who are charged with solicitations of a minor. Over a 2-day period beginning January the 9th, as part of an undercover investigation aimed at addressing human trafficking in Spring Hill, authorities placed several decoy advertisements on websites known to be linked to commercial sex. The focus of the operation was to identify individuals seeking to engage in commercial sex acts with minors and adults. As a result of the operation, detectives and agents arrested 11 men and booked them into the Maury County Jail. Stay with us. More news is coming up after these messages.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. Check out the 2019 fully loaded V6 Kia Sorento, up to $6,400 off original MSRP. That's Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, why buy anywhere else?
You made the time and the sacrifice to broaden their horizons, to see their smiles, but mostly to make lifelong memories. We think it's time to do it again, just the 2 of you. Don't let illness or injury slow you down. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live well.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
Welcome back. The Tennessee General Assembly opened its 111th session on Tuesday. We spoke with Senator Janice Bowling from Tullahoma about her career in the political arena. You started in politics in the political arena sometime around the early 90s. Take us through your career to this point.
In the 90s, I was minding my own business, and I had friends who wanted me to get involved in as an alderman, because there was an issue in particular. You remember the infamous bypass?
I do.
And we were all going there trying to fight it, and they said, you know, we need somebody on that side of the table, not just always having to be on this side of the table. So there were 2 people up for re-election, of course, and there were about 6 of us that ran for those 2 seats, the 2 incumbents, 2 more people, 4 more people rather, that just normal citizens, and I happened to win. Now my son said, Mama, you didn't carry any precinct. I said, no, but I got the 2nd highest number of votes.
And that's the way that works.
And as a friend of mine has always said, do you know who wins, Janice? The one who gets the most votes.
Right.
And I said, yeah, that's true. So I became an alderman, and there had been one other woman alderman at the time, and Beth Bryant.
Beth Bryant.
And I was a known Republican. That was something new back in '91.
And I'm guessing you were probably, at that point, the only Republican on the board.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Oh, for sure. And but I found out that you discuss the issues. You might even debate the issues. You might even argue the issues. But you could go out and have a cup of coffee when it's over. And that's the thing that I think is so important, that in some ways is missing in today's politics.
People take it personal?
People take it personal. There's not as much civility. With the internet, which I'm a strong proponent of the internet, but a lot of folks, everybody thinks they're a rock star and they have their own TV program, Jimmy.
Right, right.
And they get on the internet and might say things that are half true or not true and not know. But there's a lot more to contend with. It used to take a while to get a letter from somebody, and now you can get their tweet or their email in a flash.
You served, what, 15, 16 years?
15.
And a large portion of that, though, you were chosen by your colleagues on the board to be the vice mayor.
I was the mayor pro tem, and I think what has really helped me as a state senator, I was on the airport authority. I was on the Housing Authority. I was on the Industrial Development Authority board, and the different boards, the TUB in particular, I was on there when we decided to get fiber in Tullahoma. And we had done the due diligence for a year, and we had investigated everything, and this was about the turn of the century. And Jerry Cooper, our mutual friend, he had carried the legislation in 1999 as a state senator that enabled the utility authorities and boards to provide broadband, telephone, and internet service. So we were acting on that law, and I've been trying to amend that law and take out the electric footprint restriction that's on the local utilities.
And that would be something that would allow them to expand beyond.
For instance, if Schmid wanted fiber, then Tullahoma would be able to take them. And ironically, in Tullahoma, people who have asked to be annexed, they've been annexed, but if they were Duck River Electric customers, they live inside the city limits, but they cannot get the tub. They cannot get fiber to the premise because they are not in the electric footprint. So that's a very restrictive law. AT&T put that on there if we want to ask who. And I've been fighting that since I got up there.
Nashville. You also spent some time working with Congressman Van Hillary.
I did. And that was about 1994, I guess. So I'd been an alderman about 3 years. I was a known Republican in this area, and so he came and asked if we would help with his campaign, which we did. And then his administrative assistant, Susan Hirschman, came to me after the election and said, Janice, I've gotten to know you, and I think that you would be a great field rep. And would you be interested? Well, up until that time, I was full-time wife, mother, homemaker, community volunteer. I had not worked out of the home. 2 of our children were going to college, and another one was in high school. And I asked Temple, he said, you know, I think we should be willing to make that contribution. I said, do you have a mouse in your pocket? You know, the we, what is that? But after 3 months, I became the district director in the congressional office, and I traveled in 11 counties from Hardin County to White County.
You later ran for that office.
It was a little bit of a different configuration because former Senator Lincoln Davis had been part of the redistricting, and that district that had gone from Hardin County up to Campbell County then was reconfigured and brought in the Sequatchie Valley, which plays up in my life later because I ran in the counties that I now serve. But at that time, they were drawn into that district because they were staunch Democrat counties.
More news is coming up in a moment.
It's not invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. Get to Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
He's a little bit of you, he's a little bit of me. He's the trash along the roadside of Tennessee. He's the garbage that we find. He's the dream we left behind. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. A throwaway bottle or pop-top can may not seem much to a traveling man, but a little bit of litter goes a long, long way. And I grow and getting bigger every day. Tennessee trash messing up the highways. Tennessee trash dunking up the byways. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash. Lord, there ain't no lower class than Tennessee trash.
have met the enemy, and he is us.
Welcome back. Coffee County Emergency Management Director Alan Lindley recently spoke to the Tullahoma Board of Mayor and Aldermen about federal funds which are available to help mitigate disasters in the area.
So I kind of want to do an overview of the mitigation plan. The mitigation plan is written by us every 5 years. It has to be updated. Tullahoma has been a part of that mitigation plan since we started it. What the mitigation plan does is it allows for federal funding of mitigation projects ahead of a storm. So, give you a couple examples that I saw done in the past. If you've got areas that are flood prone, that may have houses and things like that in it, this mitigation plan will allow you to purchase those houses at a 75-25 split. The federal government paying 75%. The city would be responsible for the 25%. It will also allow you to put safe rooms in schools, retrofit schools for safe rooms, for tornadoes and things like that. Anything that you can think of mitigation-wise that will help the impact of a storm or a natural disaster, we can use mitigation funds for. The only thing that we have to do as a city and a county is to adopt the mitigation plan. It's already been approved by the state through our agency there, Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, and it's also been approved by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. We have to do those approvals prior to it coming back to the city and the county in order for us to approve it and adopt it as a plan. So is there any questions about the mitigation planning and how that works?
Mr. Mayor? Are there any actual costs to the city or anything?
There's no cost up front. So if you decide to work on a project, whatever that project is, then we submit that to the state, who would then send it up to the federal government. That project would be approved, and then the project would be completed. The federal government would be paying 75%. And depending on the time, and I say the time of year, but depending on if we have an active disaster or not in the state, a lot of times the state will pick up 12.5 of that 25%. So the city would only be out 12.5% at that point. And the good thing about that is all of that can be in-kind match. So work that we do towards that can be a match for that 12.5.
Is that what, when Nashville had that flooding and they bought several of those houses, is this the plan that they used? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the same one, okay.
The federal funding, yes, ma'am.
Have we used it in recent years? Have we done anything in the past 5 or 10 years where we've utilized?
We haven't done any projects in the last, I've been the Director of Emergency Management for 12 years now, and we haven't done any projects in either city or the county.
Okay.
Now, it's just been a dormant program. The money's been there. This is merely an update to the plan that we have to do every 5 years.
And I know hindsight's 2020. Would this have been? It has to be before the emergency. So
yes,
okay, all right, so I was thinking about
okay.
Yeah, you were thinking about the tornado.
I was. Yeah. So okay.
Does this cover things like active shooter situations, or is this natural disasters or emergency in general?
It mainly covers natural disasters. Active shooters is a different type thing. Now, if you do say a safe room in a school or a safe room in a public building, that could be used for an active shooter because it's a secure location. So you get more for your money in that aspect.
We'll be right back with more News Leader.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Ford in Winchester. Check out the 2018 Ford Taurus, yours today for $26,992. That's Russell Barnett Ford on 41A in Winchester, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Welcome back. Angie Sowers, a registered dietitian from Sonoma Healthcare Heartland, stopped by our studios earlier this week to talk about diets and diabetes, and a diabetes clinic she is hosting. We're pleased to have joining us on the set now Angie Sowers, who is a registered dietitian and works here at Sonoma Heartland in Tullahoma. And this is a great time of the year probably to talk to a nutritionist, because everybody wants to lose weight the first of the year.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure you might want to touch on that just a little bit. I mean, there's probably healthy ways to do that, and there's probably bad ways to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of fad diets out there that people kind of get wrapped up in, and they think those are great, quick ways to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I get questioned all the time about everything from, Weight Watchers to keto to you name it, and a lot of folks are asking what's the best method to go about losing weight and getting healthy. And there's not one size fits everybody. Everybody's needs are different, so I try to drill that down the best I can. I also like to find out a little bit about the person, like, what's their daily routine, and and height, weight, male, females, what medications they're on, and those sorts of things, because you can kind of get in a little sticky situation if you don't have the background on somebody and you just tell them to do X, Y, Z.
Right.
So,
the keto is kind of a derivative, similar to low carb, or is it?
It has some low carb to it, very low carb, 60 to 70% intake coming from fats, and that kind of opens up a whole nother can of worms, really, sometimes, because I'm not a supporter of that diet plan. But what I do teach, and when 2020 coming on and people having new goals for the year, is diabetes management. I teach a diabetes class. It's free to the hospital. It's open to the public. They do not have to have a referral from their physician to come. It's the fourth Wednesday of every month from 3 to 4 p.m. in our private dining room at the hospital. I'm normally standing outside, waving at everybody to get them to come on down. But what I teach is low carb. I teach people what are carbs, the different types of diabetes, since there are, type 1, type 2, gestational diabetes. I explain to them how to read food labels properly. I talk to them about portion control and dining out tips, because we all like to go out to eat, but and that seems to be more and more the norm these days. Less people are cooking at home. But
that probably makes it more difficult to eat the right thing.
It can make it tricky. It can make it tricky. And then, of course, the portion sizes are usually way too much for what we're supposed to be trying to eat. So there are ways to navigate that, though. But I do try to teach the dangers of not eating properly, not taking your medications properly, and the class is geared mainly towards diabetes, but it would also help someone to come, even if they weren't diabetic, just to want to lose weight, because being mindful of your carbohydrates and knowing how to count them and how to read food label plays a hand in that as well. So when I have people call me up that said, I just want to lose weight but I'm not diabetic, I still encourage them to come to this class, just because the principles kind of work hand in hand, both to help lower glucose levels and A1Cs, but also to get weight under control as well. In fact, this Friday, I'm teaching a lunch and learn with Dr. Crater, who is new to our area. He's in internal medicine. He's one of the new physicians that sees folks at Tenova Harton, and he and I are doing a lunch and learn of living with diabetes this Friday at the hospital, and it's from 12 to 1. Now that, because it's a lunch and learn, folks do have to RSVP for that because we only have so much seating available. But you know, this is going to be our second lunch and learn, and it was so popular the first time that we decided to host another one just to try to get out the word about diabetes and living healthy, living right, trying to get, again, off to a good start.
Stay with us. Your weather forecast is coming up next.
The wait is finally over. The all-new redesigned Ford Ranger is back at Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma. Stop and test drive one today at Russell Barnett Ford of Tullahoma on Highway 55, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party, but things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her, and now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation.
It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor, Stat.
Welcome back. We'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time, starting with your weather history on this day. Our record high was in 1943 at 74 degrees. The record low was in 1982 at minus 10 degrees. The average high on this day is 49 and the average low is 28. Partly cloudy weather expected tonight with a low of 30. Cloudy weather in the forecast for Friday with a high of 49 and a low of 41. Rain in the forecast for Saturday with a high of 53 and a low of 25. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. You have a good evening.